Okay. So, boy, do we have today feels like the mom vibe. And I'm really, really excited because when I asked our guest today, Jennifer Robb, who you're going to meet in a moment, what would you like to bring? And she told me a raw and honest message about hope, advocacy, and purpose, especially for moms who are quietly battling behind closed doors. Welcome to the Life by Design podcast. I'm your host, Kim Ward, a certified master life and business coach, NLP practitioner, and your guide to building a life and business that you absolutely love. And I know, Jen, you have no idea how much your message resonated with me because I had a mom who struggled. She struggled so bad that she watched me, her eldest child, attempt suicide. She watched my only sister take her life at the age of 22. And then my mom decided to take her life the same way that my sister did. So you're a strong mama, you're a strong mental health advocate, and I had to have you out here on my podcast. So we're starting off heavy, girl. We're starting off.
That makes my heart hurt. Yes, I'm glad to be here.
So thank you so much. I mean, you've got a brand new book out, Warrior Mom Rising, which is the mom's battle plan to advocate, overcome, and thrive. And obviously, I shared just a brief part of my story, but I didn't have a strong warrior mom role model, right? So as I was watching my mom struggle, I was struggling, and I had to learn, not relearn, but learn how to be a good mama to my two daughters. And I love what you do. So how did you get into what you do? Tell us a little bit about the story behind the message.
Well, it wasn't something that I sought after, right?
Is it ever?
It really wasn't. And, that's like message number one is like we all have a story to tell.
For sure.
And I'm a firm believer that God uses our stories and there's always a purpose in our pain.
Yes.
We may not always know it, right? But our journey started when my daughter was between the ages of 12 and 13. Her name is Chloe, so I'll refer to her as that. But she really started to struggle with her own mental health, anxiety, depression, ultimately self-harm in the worst ways. And it was in those moments, the first real glimpse, especially of the self-harm, was on Christmas Eve of 2020. I rushed her to the counselor, the only one I could find open, because I knew that we were in for a journey. But through that, it was a long road. And through that, God just has kind of said at the end of the journey, like, hey, you need to write a book. And I was like, I am not an author. I've been in medicine for 25 years, and that's what my entire life has been based on. God has a funny way of saying, no, you're gonna write it, and you're gonna help share your story, because there are mamas that are really struggling with keeping it all together, but you don't have to. But the message is you're not alone, and there is hope.
I love that. As a mom, obviously, I mean, you're a nurse practitioner, you're a mom, like you get to see all the different avenues. And now, hello, spoiler alert, you're an author. You're not an author. Congratulations on the book, by the way.
Thank you.
Sometimes we don't know what we don't know, obviously, and we don't know who to turn to. And it almost feels like in today's society, we've either been so jaded by fake news, social media, that we don't know who is a trustworthy source to go to. And that's really why I developed this podcast, is I don't want to be everything to everybody, because I can't be, but I can be the conduit, right? I always like to say to people, I can't change the world. I can change a world. And through your story, your skill, your personality, you can change a world, and together we can change the world. So, when we as moms first of all, we're really good at putting everybody else first, right? I mean, yes. And burnout is real, and emotions are real, and juggling the balls and keeping them in the air is very, very real. So what would you say to that mama who is very quietly struggling because she's afraid to either show the truth because there's fear of judgment, if we're being honest. If we show that side of us, then maybe we won't be taken seriously, or we will be perceived as being weak and not being able to hold it all together. What would you say to her?
Well, I know firsthand what that's like because I was that mama, right? And I talk about this in the book, and I think it's also a little trickier when you come from a really good, strong Christian background, right? We even hold on to the shame and what we're really going through
Mm.
because of the stigmas, right?
Yeah,
And in today's world of social media and everybody's got phones and cameras all the time, we want to put on the best facade, right? We want people to think we have it all together, but that's not real.
right.
And I was that mama. I mean, my husband and I, we've been married for 25 years, raised our three kids in a Christian, strong two-parent home. But when your child starts to struggle, you don't really want to let that in. I mean, let people in. And the other part of that is especially when it comes to mental health, right?
Yeah,
Because there is a stigma with mental health.
for sure.
But more and more teens are struggling. And the only way to change that stigma or the attitude of judgment about mental health and what it does to families is to talk about it. And through it, I really felt like God was saying, this is the message. You need to talk about it. You need to offer the mamas hope because there is hope, right? I mean, coming out on the other side, you can now see that there was a purpose in the pain. But I can also now look at my daughter and go, wow, I watched God bring her through so much. But you have to hang on, but you do have to ask for help, right? You can't be so prideful in the moment and worried what everybody thinks because you do need help. We can't keep it all together. Mamas, we're doing everything. We're taxi drivers, we're cooks, we're cleaners, we're, you know, everything to
Business
everybody.
owners.
Yeah, right. We're everything to everybody. Another strong point of that is that self-care matters,
Hmm.
right? Even the littlest things matter in the way of self-care. You cannot pour from an empty cup.
That's right.
You have to pour back and find something that replenishes your soul. You know, for me, that was locking myself in my car because there were no dogs following, there were no kids. That's like the only place that was
I
like a
feel that, girl. I'm going to start locking myself in my car once a
you know,
day.
like even as a mom, like they go to the bathroom, they're like, mom, right?
I have a 52-year-old that still follows me when I go to, like, honey, give me it.
Right. It's like you just everywhere that they can find you, they're going to find you, right? So for
Yes,
me, it was like going to the car in the garage and shutting the doors, and then you can lock it.
that's
You
right.
know,
Yes.
turning on worship music for 10 or 15 minutes and just letting the moments in there of the quiet and the stillness help to rejuvenate my soul because I knew that I had to keep showing up. I had to keep stepping up every day, not only for her, but for my other two kids and my husband and everybody else that we have to be. Self-care is a huge part of that and not thinking it's selfish, but then also asking for help. Okay, self-care is never selfish. It's a necessity.
I love that you say that because 2 years ago, I was sitting in a mastermind with one of my business coaches, and I realized when she called me out how much I had built my life around my work. And I wasn't miserable, but she's like, "You're miserable." And I thought, "No, I'm not." I was very defensive, but I realized, oh, snap. I've kind of painted myself into a corner. So I have got a big whiteboard over here, and she asked me, like, "What do you want?" And I realized I had stopped dreaming. I was just living the day to day to day. And she's like, "You got to figure out what you want." And I'm thinking, what do I want? Right? And most of us, we go for the big extreme. I want a house on the ocean. And I'm like, let's be realistic. I just
Yeah.
want a facial. I just want a pedicure. Like, I just want someone to rub my feet after a long day. And I started to build that into my monthly, not even vision board, but like goals. And it's been 2 years right now that me and my daughter, my youngest daughter, she was 8 at the time, we go every single month for a facial. My husband and I go every single month for a massage. It's non-negotiable. And I chose to carve out our church because we happen to have a church that we love and we adore. And you mentioned Christian music. I joined the choir for that very reason, because that's my time in my car, locked, so to speak, that I'm with the choir and I'm just like, Lord, it's you. But let's talk real. Let's talk about the self-care piece, because I think a lot of mamas tend to look at self-care as it has to be something like a spa or a pedicure or it costs money, and it doesn't.
It absolutely does not. And that's the thing, right?
Yes.
For me, it was just being intentional. That is the word that we have to remember as mamas. Okay. We have to be intentional about the choices that we already are, and the choices that we make for our children or for our families, or where to eat or what to cook for dinner. But we put us on the back burner, and we have to
Yes.
be intentional about making time for us. So, I live and die by my calendar. I'm a written out kind of girl,
Same.
And if that means that every day you write down at 8:45 p.m. because the kids are in bed that you're going to make time, even if it's 10 minutes of just washing your face and then putting on a moisturizer. If it's walking, taking a 15-minute walk early in the morning before the kids get up, and just walking and then picking fresh flowers. I mean, think about what fresh flowers, if somebody brings them to you, right? Like, it instantly lifts your mood, you're
Yeah.
joyful, right? There's a smile, right? And you feel appreciated, right? But that's out there in the world.
Yeah.
Even if you have to walk and pick it up yourself. But there's so many other benefits of that. I mean, like, even exercising for 15 minutes, right? Like, what it does for the body and the endorphins and all of the things, those have to be intentional choices. If we intentionally say, not me, I'm not worthy, I can't do that, I don't have time,
Oh, yeah.
then you are making that conscious choice to not put you at the front. And remember, I mean, we're in charge of a lot of stuff. Mamas have a lot of responsibility. If it's setting an alarm on your phone every day, it's going to be that, 10 minutes in the morning, or 10 minutes in the afternoon at nap time, or 10 minutes in the evening. Start with the small things, right? Start with something that's easy and attainable. And then absolutely work up to where you are. Like, that is like, I mean, every 6 weeks, me and my daughter, we go get our hair done.
Love
Every
it.
6 weeks. It's like clockwork. And that, yes, that is a luxury,
Yep.
but you
It is.
don't have to have expensive luxuries to just take care of yourself.
Wouldn't you agree that, like, just even setting boundaries is a form of self-care? I don't think we do that enough.
Well, but we set boundaries for everybody else. We set
Correct.
boundaries for our children. We tell them, no, you can't go hang out with them. No, you can't go over there today. No, we have plans. No, you know what I mean? Like, we set boundaries for everybody else. But as mamas, we forget.
Yeah.
Like, we
Yeah.
have to guard ourselves and protect ourselves. The only way to be active and influential is to pour into yourself just a little bit, so that you have something left to give at the end of the day. Remember, it serves no one if you're exhausted all the time, if you're moody, if you're snappy at everybody,
That's
if
right.
it serves no one, right? So, in order to help our children become who God destined them to be, whether you're in a really hard season of mental health stuff like I was, or if it's just in the day to day like you were, the mundane,
Yep.
right? We have to become a priority to ourselves, because nobody else is going to make us a priority. And that's the reality of it,
It's so
right?
true. It's so true. I'm putting you on the spot here. Do you have any boundaries for yourself that, like, you could recognize very easily?
Well, it's the self-care. I mean, that
Yeah.
is 100% boundary. Like,
I love that.
my people know at 9 o'clock, I'm gonna need y'all to leave me alone. Now, my kids are older now, right? So, I mean,
Yeah.
they're 19, 20s, 19 and 17. So they're a little bit older, but they know that that's non-negotiable. But it's sometimes, for me, even, it was relationships with people, right?
That's a big
Like,
one.
there are people that eventually, that they sometimes become toxic in your life, right? It's negativity. They speak negativity. And you you are kind of what you surround yourself with. Like it's that old
Sure.
adage that we learned as children, right?
Yeah.
Like show me who you surround yourself with and I'll show you your future, right? So for me it's like boundaries on social media. I don't allow people into my social media space that are negative. I mean, that's
I
a
love it.
boundary,
Yes.
right? If you're just going to be negative Nancy and you want to talk about the hate of the world and politics and the sad sob stories, line is drawn in the sand.
I love that. I love that. Say it again for the people in the back. Y'all listening to this, like this is some serious, beautiful things you can do to maintain your sanity and protect your mental health. We have to. You talked about social media and community, and I know that you've got the Warrior Mom coaching community, which I know you protect. Tell me a little bit about that.
I wanted to create what I didn't have,
Mm,
right? Like, again, I pridefully let a lot of, I'm not going to talk about it with people, right, with what we were struggling with as a family because of the stigmas and the feeling of judgment or whatever.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
I wanted to create something where women could come and feel like it's a safe space because I also understand that not everybody has the same husband that I have, right? Or the same mom, right? I mean, I was blessed that I have a mom that's still around in a very active part of my life,
It's awesome.
but not everybody has that, right? And so I wanted to create a space where women could come and feel safe. They could say what they really wanted to say without, like, I can't believe she just said that. Like, that's not very Christian. You have to have that, right? Like,
You
as
do.
you need something or some place to be able to say, because that's really the only way that you're going to heal, right? And transform in the process.
Yes.
The goal of the book and the coaching program, and then I even have a free Facebook community that they can go in and they can join and they can still feel it's not one-on-one, but it is a group of moms who have all been there in a struggle. Some of the
Mm,
moms have been through mental health journeys like me. Some moms talk about their kids that are addicts and the journey that they've gone down that road. It just is about creating that safe space and the beauty of community between women
yeah.
that understand each other and the struggles, even though our stories are different. And it doesn't mean that your kids have to be like a certain age, there's not like all these requirements. It's just
Yeah.
let me meet you where you are and see how I can help you and put you in a position to where your soul is replenished and you can pour back into those people that need you.
That's so important and so good. Thank you for creating a space like that. And obviously, friends, we're going to link those opportunities for you to step into in the show notes and down in the description of the video. So that is absolutely amazing. What's one of the things that you would say that kind of helped you in the darkest season? What was like the most meaningful to you?
That's like a loaded question.
I know. I'm laying it on.
So, like I'll just take a minute to kind of tell like the darkest moments that happened for us.
Sure. Yeah.
And that was on April 4th of 2023. We had been in Chloe's journey in and out of different counselors, but on April 4th, 2023, I couldn't get a hold of her. She looked like she was doing better on the surface. And so I had gone to work. She is homeschooled still. And she was going to be at home doing her schoolwork. Her brothers were right up the road at the high school. And, they're like 5 minutes away. And so I was like, okay, we'll take let you have it. But your mama's intuition and your mama's heart, you're like, I kept calling and texting and I couldn't get a hold of her.
Yeah.
So I called my two boys and I said, I need you to leave the school right now. Like, I don't know what it is, but I just need you to go. And just walk out the door. Do not pass go. Just go. They got home and my oldest boy found her unresponsive in her room, face down in a pillow in a pool of vomit.
Wow.
No idea what had happened. He calls me panicked. She's unresponsive. call 911. I leave work. I'm coming home at 100 miles an hour. 911. They finally get her to respond. And we get her to the hospital and they start doing all their lab testing. And her alcohol level was 4 times the lethal limit.
Oh,
Not the legal, the lethal. And I know they don't know my daughter, but Chloe she's 5 foot tall. You know, she's tiny. She's 100 pounds. She's a competitive cheerleader.
mm,
So that's a lot.
that's a lot.
And the doctor in the ER looked at me and said, "There's no reason that she should be alive."
Wow.
That's a very poignant time for a mother,
Yeah.
right? Like, oh man. So I know why she's alive because I know that God has a purpose for her life and I know that He's not done with her story yet.
Thank you, Lord.
But what I do know is in that moment, that was rock bottom. It was rock bottom for her. I mean, we got her all squared away in the hospital. We brought her home. She was covered in vomit. It was like literally stuck in her hair. And she was sobbing and she wanted to shower, but she didn't even have the physical strength to wash her own hair. And so I put her in the shower and I bathed her. I washed her hair. And it's in those moments that I was like, man, God, what are you doing? Like, this makes me teary eyed every time I talk about it. It's just like, what are you doing? Like, this is my baby girl, the girl after 2 boys, you know? And it was in that moment that God said to me, surrender her to me, Jen.
Oh,
She is not yours. Man, I'm trying not to cry.
oh boy.
She is not yours. She is mine. And as much as you love her, and you think about the depths of a mother's love,
Mm-hmm.
what we would go to protect our children, to what we would do for our children. But God says, Jen, I love her more. And it was in that moment, Kim, that I literally had to just fall on my face and just say, she's yours, because I don't know how to help her anymore. And we worked through it. You know, God was there, the peace came, and we navigated it. We took it one step at a time, day by day, one day at a time. You know, there's lots of sleepless nights because she slept with me. I put her in my protection, you know? I mean, my husband went to her room and she came in there with me for 6 months and I watched her sleep. But that is the moment that I had to say, okay, God, I don't know what you're doing. Protect her, guide her, and help me do the same. But through that, you know, I learned that it is not my responsibility and I cannot carry her pain. I cannot
Mm-hmm.
carry her burden. I cannot carry the anxiety that she feels. I, as her mother, am there to help her, to guide her, to love her, to advocate for her, and to speak for her when she can't speak for herself. But she has to carry the pain, and then she ultimately has to make the choice to heal herself,
Wow. Wow.
right?
This is
Like
so
through
powerful.
counseling, to put in the work,
Yeah.
to work with a therapist, right? She ended up ultimately doing cognitive behavior therapy, which is huge. There's a technique called EMDR. It's about rapid eye movement, and the therapists they have to be personally trained in it. But that was huge. But Chloe had to do the work.
For sure. Yeah.
If she went in there and just said like she had done before, well, I'm better, which she had done before, she wasn't going to get better. Like she didn't. We have to surrender it to God. And then we have to accept his grace and
Yes.
his mercy and know that he loves our children more. And then through it, we follow the steps of being their strongest voice, to being their advocate, to speaking life into them. And then we can teach them how to overcome and thrive. And as a mama, you learn to overcome and thrive in that too. We can't carry their pain, but as they transform, we can transform. And then God can use our story to help other mamas.
Wow. There's so much there. I mean, thank you for sharing. There's so much there. And I would say I can't imagine. You know, I've experienced it with myself. I was that daughter to my mother. And I watched it with my sister and I watched it with my mom, but I truly don't know what I would ever do if I watched and lived through that with my own child. And even as you're talking, like surrendering your child to our most heavenly high Father, I know, yes, of course we do that as kingdom believers and as women, but as a mom, that goes against every grain of our instinct.
Correct.
And
Because we're the
girl,
mama bears. We're going to fight.
yes,
And we control the narrative, right? We control,
absolutely.
especially when they're smaller, right?
Yeah.
But now that mine are older, I can look at it and go, you know what? God has put you on this earth. You are going to become the human that you're designed to be.
Yeah.
You're going to also make choices that have negative and positive consequences. It is not my job as your mother to rescue you and to pull you out and not let you make and to make every choice for you. Because if I make a
Ooh,
choice for you and I make every decision, what have you learned?
I know. I'm starting to sweat here, Jen,
But
because
that's hard, right, Kim? Like it's
yes,
because as mamas, it's like I control this.
yes.
But God says, no, you don't. The
Oh,
joke's on you, sister.
when you
You
said,
don't control anything.
I feel that. I watch my 10-year-old and I'm like, I don't know how to let go and let God. And that's why I had to have you here. Like, that's why I had to share you with my network of mamas because that's not natural for us. As you know, you had to fight through that. You had to trust in our Father, in Christ, in the Lord, and know I've surrendered my most precious thing to you, and you've got us. And that's such a that's a warrior mom right
But
there.
that's why the book is called Warrior Mom Rising, because I want mamas, the mama bear is in us. Right?
Yeah,
Like I am a fierce mama bear. My kids will tell you, like, oh man, if those bear claws start to come out,
that's right. You
we
better
got a real
run.
problem. Okay.
Yes.
Just as I am their warrior mom, God is still a warrior for us,
Yes, he is.
right? And there is a warrior inside of us. We don't all have strong personalities or we're all different, right? God made us all different. But there's still that mama bear in you that learns to advocate for your children, to
Hmm.
speak for them when they can't even speak for themselves. So, I mean, part of what I want women to understand is how to navigate those things, right? How do you learn how to advocate when you don't have a strong personality, right? You
Yeah.
don't know the medicine world. I know the medicine world in and out because I've been in it for 25 years.
Amazing.
But so many moms don't know how to navigate things. They don't want to push back against modern medicine. They don't want to push back against the psychiatrist or
Right.
the therapist that you know is not right, right? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I took Chloe to multiple psychiatrists, and every single one of them was take this pill, take this pill, take this pill. And finally, I was like, you know what? Those pills, all that's doing is numbing.
Yeah. Where's the coping
Getting
mechanism?
right. It's not helping her. Now, do I think medicine has a place? Absolutely.
For sure.
But it cannot be the band-aid and then only the band-aid. You have to get down in the wound and you have to get to the root of the problem. Even though it hurts and it's hard and it's painful to talk about and to relive, you've got to get past that. Let the medicine help you, but don't let it be your crutch,
Hmm. Yeah. I love
right?
that. I think for the woman listening and she's leaning in going, oh my word, how does she know you're my person? I need to find you. Like, what's happening in her to know that she's the right one for you, or vice versa?
Well, I think that's like it's just personal, right? But like I
Yeah,
feel like God gives us a very gift of discernment,
he
right?
does.
We do it all the time for our children. We discern that person's not good for you. That person's going to take you down a path that you don't want to go down. And we have to do the same for ourselves, right? Like it's the same, it's still self-care and it's okay to need help. I mean,
Yes.
you said yourself that you've had business coaches. I've had business coaches. I had writing coaches that helped me write the book and edit the book and format the book and all of those things because that's what they do.
Yep.
They know those areas far better than I do. sometimes we have to take a step forward in order to help ourselves. And you discern wisely. I mean, you know, like, wow, that girl is, she got a lot to say. She's got a very big, voice to say it. But, like, it doesn't matter if you have a voice like mine. Like, we can all work together and come to helping one another, because I feel like the mama who doesn't talk about her story is helping no one.
Right.
What if there's your friend or your neighbor that needs to hear your story? So it's really about just trusting your instincts, listening to that inner voice, which I would call the Holy Spirit, but some of it, you can call it intuition or whatever you want to call it. And it's about trusting that, but it's also about stepping out.
Yeah.
You've got to step out and take potentially the risk.
I love that. I love that so much. And you brought up so many great and so many valid points today. Is like, we're really good at seeing it in others and telling others and seeing the boundaries that need to be set. But man, we need to look at ourselves and really be that leader, and the leader who sets the example. So you said they need to take a step, right? What's the next step for them? What would you say? Step boldly into whatever. What would that look like?
Step boldly into your warrior mom self.
Mm.
Like, that warrior mom is there, but you also have to step boldly into self-care, into loving yourself, and to accepting that you are not meant to carry their burden. You have to accept that. That's
So
really hard for moms, because
it's
we
so
want to make
hard.
everything better for everybody, especially those children that we love with everything,
Yeah.
right? I mean, you think about when your kids were little. If one of my kids fell down and they scraped their knee, right? They come running, mama, 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 and they're crying. You wash the wound, you dry it off, you put a little cream on it, and you put a band-aid. And then they're happy again, right? Mama made it better, and mama's the hero. But sometimes it's not about being mama being the hero. It's simply about, if they might not have a physical wound, but how do you help them? How do you help them take away their pain? How do you help heal, right? And that is just done through, one, taking care of yourself,
Yeah.
finding that few minutes a day where you can pour into your soul so that you can pour back into them. Because sometimes the demands of mamahood are hard.
You're not wrong in any part of it at all. I'm over here like cringing, like, my 10-year-old is like, I have to release that. So I'm going to find my way into your community too, because I need that as much as our listeners do. Thank you so much. I appreciate your transparency. And, I've said this to all of our listeners before. If we choose not to show up and not to share the way that you have today, boldly and bravely, we are literally robbing somebody from a transformation that only we can help them have. And I know you're not okay with that, right? Everything that we've been through, God has molded us to be able to take the blessing and the lesson from those circumstances and situations and say, I'm the one that has been anointed and guided and prepared to help you. And you're doing that with just an absolute shining light around you. So I can't thank you enough for being here and for sharing the way that you do.
Yeah, I'm super glad. I'm glad that we chatted and met, and glad
Yes.
to be here. And I mean, the goal in writing the book was to help try to impact mamas that feel stuck. I'm not a therapist, I'm not a counselor, but I do understand. And I show up with empathy and sympathy because I've been there. I've walked in those shoes.
Yep.
But I also want to share God's message of love and hope and peace,
Love
no
it.
matter the outcome. Because let's face it, Kim, not everybody's going to have the shining light of a child now that I do, right?
Right.
She's come out on the other side. And all
Mhm.
of our stories are different, and some of them will end different. And that's okay. but how you show up every day, how you love through the process, how you grow through the process. That's what's important.
And you show such strength and resilience. And I know you would agree with me that sometimes being that warrior mom means acknowledging I'm not okay today. And it's okay to not be okay. And that's part of ending the stigma.
It's okay. It's okay to not be okay. It's 100%. And you're not alone. I promise.
Absolutely. I love it. So we are going to absolutely link back to your book and your community and your coaching community and step boldly in, because I know as you're listening today, whether it's yourself, if you're still here, it's you, right? But I know someone, there's a name, there's a mama who hit your heart. Share this with her and let's be the conduit to help each other change a world, because together we can change the world. Jen, amazing having you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Kim.
And hey, before you go, don't forget to subscribe to our podcast. And as always, friends don't let friends grow and develop alone. So share this episode with someone you love and care about. We'll see you in the next episode.